Steven Spielberg, Christopher Nolan, James Cameron, David Fincher, Alfred Hitchcock, and Martin Scorsese all have one thing, other than being great directors, in common. And that is that they all had a rocky start. And this may be the key to becoming a great director. Christopher Nolan, his first film Following, low budget, handful of people, made it without any kind of lighting situations, with only one camera, and he made a decent film. Sure, he probably could have done better with a bigger budget, but it was enough to kind of get him enough money to make Memento. Following is by no means a great film, but it is an interesting one. David Fincher, very famous that he did Alien 3 and somewhat ruined the Alien franchise after Alien and Aliens, two of the probably the best sci-fi films ever made. He made a terrible film that almost ruined his film career, and then after a while he came back and he made Seven, and he started making some of the greatest films. James Cameron made a random film, I think it was called Piranha 2, that no one ever saw, no one ever talks about. It was terrible, who cares about it? Then he made Terminator, he became great. Steven Spielberg made something called Firefly or Fireman or something like that. Who cares? We don't know. We know about Jaws because that was another one on his list, and Jewel. They were great films. Now, if you look at some of these other directors, you'll notice that they started really well and then they went down. Like, if you do a great film to start off, then it's just not looking good that you're going to have a great career. So you hope for that first film to be somewhat maybe of a mistake, maybe of an interesting test before you move on to greatness. Let's have a look at a couple of examples quickly. Neil Blomkamp hit the big time when he made his film District 9, based on a short film of his about aliens attacking Johannesburg in South Africa. Well, not attacking, but just hovering. It was kind of a comment on apartheid and a couple other social issues going on in South Africa in the past at the time. And it's amazing. It's a brilliant sci-fi film. So good in the graphics department, in the storytelling department, the directing. It's a kind of an action film. It's got a lot of quirks and a lot of cool moments. It's an awesome film. It's a great film. He followed that up with a bigger budget, with a bigger cast, bigger name cast. He had Matt Damon in it with Elysium, and it was average to say the best. And then he did Chappie. Well, Chappie's a piece of crap. His career just went down after that. He started up high. He had it all going for him, a young director, everybody kind of expecting something new from him, and he just couldn't make it. Pity. And now he's even trying to make Alien 5, which there is some interest. I do kind of want to see him do that, but after seeing his attempts with Chappie and Elysium, it's as if the guy is leaking skill. I don't know. He maybe needs to make a couple more mistakes to kind of go, no, this is my voice. This is what kind of story I want to tell. Because right now, his career is with a big question mark all over him. Ben Affleck did Gone Baby Gone not so long ago. And it's amazing. It's his best film, with Casey Affleck in a stunning role about a girl that goes missing. Affleck really directed and showed people that he was more than just an actor that's had a bit of a rocky road himself, and he made people kind of take notice of him again. And then he did The Town, which was all right. Then he did Argo, and people went crazy about it, but really no one talks about Argo anymore. Why? Because it's really not that good a film. That and The Town, it's easy to see that his skills as a director slumped. He kind of went a bit too high and mighty on himself, perhaps, but the guy's talents as a director have never really been as good as Gone Baby Gone. Maybe he wanted to be more of an actor. I don't know what he did. The guy's a bit messed up at this stage. I think he just checked into rehab. But it's obvious that he did really well with Gone Baby Gone. Something happened there, and everyone's kind of cheering him on. Everyone loves an underdog story to come back from behind. But obviously with Ben Affleck, it's looking like his directing career might be in the sneak.
I think that if you do, Patrick, you want to be sure. Are you sure?
No.
Sam Mendes hit Oscar glory when he directed American Beauty, and then he followed it up with Road to Perdition. Now, I'm actually a big fan of Road to Perdition. A lot of people don't think so. Well, not a lot of people, but it went under a lot of people's radar. And then he did Jarhead, and then he did Skyfall, James Bond, which I don't think are really good films. He's been a very average meh director, hasn't really hit the heights of American Beauty since, and because of that, I don't think he's really made anything that's stunning, that profound, that people have taken notice of. American Beauty will be his, shining jewel in his crown at this stage, and at the moment, he's getting less and less opportunities to direct these big films that everyone wants to see, and he's becoming, not that distinct voice that we loved when we saw American Beauty.
Come with me.
Yes.
Guy Ritchie was a youngster in England who made Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, which blew everyone's hair off. It really was such a new, fast, witty kind of film that no one had ever seen before. It seemed like such an original vision. Everyone was going, oh my God, we want to see more from this kid. Brad Pitt said, come over, we'll make a film for us. And they did Snatch, and everybody loved Snatch. Now, personally, I don't think Snatch is that good. I think Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels is far superior. And after Snatch, you can kind of see that Guy Ritchie's career really went for a nosedive. After I think he married Madonna or dated Madonna or something like that. He did some music videos. He did a couple of films that no one really cares. He just disappeared off the face of the earth for a while, and then he did a couple of alright films, and he's been making alright films ever since. But Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels is at this stage, and probably will always be, his best film, and the one that has the most distinct voice. And just a great film.
That? That's Gloria.
Yes, I know that's Gloria. What's that?
Fertilizer.
You went out 6 hours ago to buy a money counter, and you come back with a semi-conscious Gloria and a bag of fertilizer. Alarm bells are ringing, Willie.
Joseph Kosinski was an architect before he took up the mantle to direct the Tron sequel that everyone was talking about. And he went to Disney and he directed Tron Legacy, which I think is an awesome film. Yes, it gets a little bit of flack here and there about it being, a bit of a meh film itself, but I think the music, I think the visuals, I think the story, it's all so amazing. It's been so influential. Not many people take notice of it, but go back and watch it again. It's a really cool film, really well done, really well directed. And then he followed it up with, I think it was called Oblivion with Tom Cruise, which was, I was excited about it, but it was another kind of, meh kind of film. And I don't know what he's done since. I think he's done a couple of other things, but not really blowing anybody's skirt up at this stage. But Tron Legacy, that's a great film, but once again, big hit at the start and then very little to follow it up. Donnie Darko came out and knocked everyone flat. This is by a director called Richard Kelly, who just came out of the blue and directed this real kind of mysterious, kind of dark comedy starring Jake Gyllenhaal, who, basically got him out of the woods, and everyone knew about Jake Gyllenhaal after this. But Donnie Darko is such an enigma. It's a great film. It's got this 80s soundtrack. It's so bizarre and weird and yet profound. You won't stop thinking about when you see it. And then Richard Kelly, he followed it up with Strangeland Tales or something with Sean William Scott, and then he did the Button movie. He did just average, weird films that he couldn't quite recapture the magic. It's almost as he fluked it. R. Kelly, the same name as that rap artist that peed on that girl. Who knows what's happened to him? That's another voice. They just got it right one time, and they can't quite recapture that magic.
We're just gonna stop.
You should already know that.
And another person I'll put on this list, just for the hell of it, because I've been watching him, is Orson Welles. Orson Welles probably did the greatest film to start off, the greatest debut. He did Citizen Kane, and it won all the awards. It's considered one of the greatest films of all time. And all this stuff just went into Orson Welles' head and made him think as if he was invincible, as if he was the greatest director of all time and no one will ever beat him. And because of that, he just made a lot of average films after it. He loved calling himself a director. He loved putting himself as an actor in his films. And at the very end of his career, he was doing commercials for Paul Masson. Who knows what happens? Is it because they get such a big head, because they think they're so amazing that they can't do anything wrong? Is it just a pure fluke? Is it that one passion project that they had and they just can't back it up? you can't really call them great directors if they can't do more than one great story, I don't think. But all the other ones, Spielberg, Cameron, Fincher, Hitchcock, Scorsese, any of those other ones have always had bad starts and then kind of gotten into greatness. They've had a real arc in their career. It didn't just start from here, it came up. And I think that's the best way you can kind of hope for if you're a budding director or someone looking to pursue their career. So, if I have any advice, is to look to fail really badly when you start. Do something experimental, try it out, do something weird, and then you can always improve. But, yeah, good luck out there.